Hey everybody, so I wanted to take a moment to kind of go over this big X exercise from what I saw the other day and also seeing on the video that Gio posted. I think it's really important that we talk about alignment, what we're actually strengthening in the body and what we're actually stretching in the body as well during this exercise. There's quite a few things here that can actually cause us a lot of damage if we're not super attentive about how we're actually engaging and moving into our body. So I really want to make sure that I gave all the best information that I can that's actually going to work for everyone and actually help everyone improve through this exercise. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are starting in first position, heels together, toes turned out, obviously making sure we have a good turnout through the hips so that way the knees tracked over the toes. Anytime that we start any exercise, whether it's dancing, spinning a flag, a weapon, whatever it may be, we always want to make sure this alignment within our body standing is always engaged and ready to go. So feeling down into the ball mounds of the feet, heels, and pinky toe ball mounds, really pushing through, engaging through the legs, engaging through the glutes, up into the core, lifting through the chest, rolling the shoulders back and down, and lifting all the way top of the crown of the head. And then we also want to make sure we're taking our gaze up and high to the performance box to the judges, correct? So making sure we have that in alignment, we're going to begin this exercise with a roll down for 8 counts. Now, on this initiation on these 8 counts, a lot of times people just want to jump straight into the roll, but you really want to make sure you're articulating every single vertebra of the spine, really starting up into the neck. So beginning, rolling down 1. Making sure this break in the neck happens first before we continue from the upper body into the mid body, lower back, and so on going down. Okay? So doing that together real quick. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So while you're doing that row down, you're actually feeling every single part of the spine starting to break as you go all the way down into the ground. Now, once we're in that forward fold, everyone has a different variation of their stretch, of how far they can reach down to their toes or not. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. Personally, me, I can go really far down. I can touch my hands to the ground. But even here, I don't have the right engagement right here until I start to lift my sits bones up to the sky, really lifting up and high to allow my chest to fall even deeper and down. You can still do this even if this is your stretch right here, right? You really want to make sure you're lifting from, see how already I'm lifting my sits bones up to the sky and it's lowering my upper chest down. Doesn't mean you have to go super far, but really make sure you're lifting up and out through those sits bones, not necessarily like duckbill, like, I don't know if I can really do it, but you want to think about these 2 sits bones right here going as far up to the sky as you possibly can to reach down. So we roll down for 8. Now we're going to releve for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a balancing act here. Now again, I can reach the ground. So if I need to touch my fingertips to the ground to help find that balance, I'm okay with that. This is just kind of like your safety net. You could do the same thing if you're higher up to push onto your shins or up onto your thighs as well. But the whole point here is that we're raising all the way up into the balls of our feet to really engage and pushing that heel forward into the foot so we're high up on the toes. So we're down. We relevate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the plie, keep those heels up. 5, 6, 7, 8 as we plie. And since we're in a turnout position, our knees should go past our arms and really open up almost into like a weird funky butterfly position. So that way we're keeping that turnout the whole time. So we went into that plie, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're still high up on the toes as high as we can. From here, walking forward for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I walked forward, I tracked my knees in, keeping my toes where they were. So once we get into that plank pose, your feet are going to be about hip width-ish distance apart, maybe not quite so, maybe just a little bit thinner, but at least that way we're kind of not like shuffling our feet around or doing a lot of motion. We're just basically from this turnout to position to in position as we walk forward into our plank. Now, looking at this plank position, this is really important to make sure that we have proper alignment here. It's going to help protect our back. A lot of times we're just going to go straight into sinking into our back just because it's comfortable. It's what we know. Plank is really hard. It takes a lot of strength throughout the whole body, right? So when we're in this plank position, you really want to make sure your shoulders are directly over your hands and your wrists. Also, to protect your hands, you want to push into the ground as if you're pushing up onto the finger beds of your hands. So that way you're not just like dumping into the wrist. This is going to cause a lot of carpal tunnel and tendonitis. So making sure you're really pushing into those fingertips, shoulders up and over those wrists. And we're really engaging and tightening up the glutes and the core at the same time. This is going to help keep you up. So we walk out for 4. Now we're going to hold here for 4, keeping this alignment as best as we possibly can, making sure we're not hiking our hips up or sinking our hips low. And one more thing to keep note, you also don't want to sink into your shoulders here, right? Because it's going to feel really hard. You want to push into your shoulders as if you're pulling your shoulder blades apart and pushing up and out. You guys can see that. So when we go into this plank pose, so for here, if I'm sinking down, I'm pushing up into it, opening up the shoulder blades. And this is the plank pose that we want to get into. So when we drop into this, like lowering all the way down to the ground, not quite a push-up, but lowering down. Again, it's also really important that we keep our alignment here. Not everyone can lower the entire body down to the ground. That's really hard. I do it in my personal practice, so I have the capability to do it. But you also need to build that strength up. That took me actually quite a bit of time to be able to do that and really hold that. So when we go into this, so for some of us that are just like kind of like sinking out down and dropping in this way, when we're in this plank position, go ahead and on count 8 before you start the drop, tap the knees down to the ground, untuck the toes, but keep this straight alignment through the body, really engaging, pushing through the shoulder blades and up into the core. From here, we're going to do the drop. Now, I'm going to do a change in how we move our arms. A lot of us were just pushing the elbows out. I want us to push our shoulders forward and elbows back. So as we come down and through, we're actually going to pass through this 90-degree angle right here before we completely lower down to the ground. And again, this is just going to help us with the movements kind of moving forward. Also, it's going to create a lot more strength throughout the arms and in the biceps as well. Biceps, pectoral muscles. There we go. So that's one option, to drop your knees down. Otherwise, if you're going to come with me and do full plank, it's the same thing, but elbows come back behind you, shoulders shift forward as you slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground for 8 counts till you connect to the ground. Untucking the toes. Now it's also important to make sure that we're pushing our elbows back and down, because now we're already set up for this cobra push-up that we're about to do. Hands are already down by our lower rib cage, pressing into the ground, engaging the glutes, engaging the core, engaging the legs, engaging everything. This is going to protect your lower back. I cannot stress this enough. So we're really engaged. We're pushing through. We're going to push into the hands first before we actually initiate the lift from the upper body. So you want to feel yourself push the earth away. As you're doing that, your shoulders are going to roll up and down behind you. Do you guys see that? Instead of just pushing up this way. So we're going to push, shoulders rolling back and down, pushing into the ground, coming up into your cobra pose. Now, this is a great option right here. My arms are still bent. I'm looking up. This is perfect as if this is as far as your body can go. It's not about the bend in your lower back from this position. It's actually from the middle of the back and up in your thoracic spine. So that's what you want to think about. You want to keep your lower back as straight and neutral as long as possible. There's already a natural curve in there. Adding more curve to that is not going to do you any good. If you actually look at what are they called? Not aerialists, but contortionists. If you actually look, their bend is actually coming from the middle of their back because there's a lot more flexibility there that can give. So you don't want to think about bending this lower part of the back. You want to keep that as straight as possible. So pushing up, wherever your variation here is, pushing up 1, 2, 3, 4, whether it be here, here, or all the way up to here. Even this is really hard for me. But wherever that is, that's okay. And then we're going to hold, making sure the shoulders are rolled back and down. We're either looking straight all the way up or maybe even reaching back just a little bit. Holding for 4, and then slowly coming down for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, before I move on, I want to add a little challenge here for those of you that want to push the boundary just a little bit. This is in my personal practice, again, with like yoga and all this stuff. So I'm going to invite it in because it's going to help me with a lot of strength and a lot of my flexibility. And the dogs want to bark at noise. Hey, come on. So, from plank position. If you're coming with me with the stronger variation, so we're up here in plank, we're pushing in, down into the ground. We're going to shift our shoulders forward, slowly rolling down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, until your arms come to a 90-degree angle. You're stopped there. From here, you're going to roll your toes over and then push up into an upward facing dog. So your knees actually never connect to the ground. Pushing all the way up, looking back and up, pressing your feet down into the ground. And then all the way connecting to the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we all connect down on 8. From here, we're going to push back into a child's pose. So once again, you're going to push into the hands, but you're also going to lift the tailbone up and back at the same time to get into this position. So we're not actually hiking our hips up, or we're not doing this little like slither back thing. Everything comes up together as the dogs want to snuggle in right next to me. So from here, pushing back, 4 counts. 1. See how my hips and my arms pushed up at the same time? That's what you want to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, this is an active stretch. You're reaching forward with the fingertips as you're reaching your hip bones as far back as possible. Go ahead and connect your head to the ground to make it a little bit more comfortable. Holding here for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make a change here. So from here, instead of sitting up, we're going to roll up, starting through the mid-back. We're going to come into a tabletop position. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So from here, we're going to start this initiation. For those of you that know yoga, think of like cat's pose. So you're actually going to lift from the upper back, creating a curl. The hands are going to slide back just a little bit, just so that way when your shoulders come up and over, your shoulders are going to be right underneath your wrists, your hips right underneath your knees, or right over your knees. Hey guys, I need you to move. From here, we're going to shift over to the right side first. Whichever side is first. I don't know which side it is, but if we're going to go over to the right side first, we're actually going to open up with the left arm into a twist. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to open up the side body before we dive into thread the needle. 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to connect the head down to the ground. And just so you can see me on this side, when I go into this thread the needle, my arm's going to fully connect down to the ground, and my head's connected to the ground as well. Hey guys, I need you to move. Come on. Scooch. Scooch, scooch. All the way, go lay down. Let me get these guys out of the way for you so you can hopefully see. Come on, Jax. Over here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Right here. Scooch, scooch. All right. So we have our arms slide through to the ground, hips up to the sky, arm connected, heads connected. From here, we're going to start to shift our legs back and our arm forward to create a straight line. This will be count 2 before we open up to that big X, 3 and 4. So still very, very similar, but I don't want to come up high onto the knees and then fall down because there's going to be too many variations of what that looks like. And also there's a lot of room for injury to happen right there. That's why I'd rather kind of ease into it a little bit differently with more articulation coming from this thread the needle. From here, this way we're going to create a straight line. This arm, you can't see it on the other side. We'll do it on the reverse side as well. It's going to be straight in front of you while your arms straight up and forward, legs are all the way down below you. And then you open up and articulate through that big X as if someone's pulling strings from your toes and your fingertips to open you up. And then moving on from here, connecting 5, 6. So you're going to be moving this arm that's down. You're going to be pushing your whole arm down to really create that lift. So 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're here up on 8. Diving up and over. 9. Keeping these arms nice and straight. 10, 11, 12. To where your arms come back down to your rib cage. And then from here, to get back up, we're actually going to go into a plank first before we go into that down dog position. Again, this is protecting the lower back and more articulation. So if you came in going through your original like lower push-up chaturanga variation onto the knees, you're going to do the same thing. Pushing up so that way your knees are still connected, but your whole body, upper torso, is still in a straight line. Okay? And then from here, you'll untuck and you'll come into a plank. If you did the full plank, you're going to push up into that full plank. Once again, keeping your elbows down back behind you. And we're going to push up this way. Tucking the toes, engaging the legs, and then lifting up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're in plank. From here, hips hike up high. 5, 6, 7, 8. See how we got there? So then from here, we're going to go ahead, lift the toes, or lift the heels up onto the toes, bend the knees, 1, 2, hop 3, straight legs forward, fold on 4, and then roll up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how I want to see everyone kind of articulate and move through this. Again, I can't hype enough about making sure we're protecting the lower back. Obviously, once I get into rehearsal some more, I'll try to take a chance to like walk through with everyone to kind of feel into everyone's body and see what's going on. But sometimes just throwing us into certain positions, like going down from the ground, going straight up into that down dog, isn't necessarily the best for the lower back, especially if you don't already have that strength kind of built up for it. So these little steps I kind of wanted to change and add in, it's just to help build that strength to make it kind of work together, and then also identifying how we're actually moving the body. So I'll go through it with you guys one time all the way through. I'm going to be stepping back because the whole thing kind of moves you forward. So I may have a pause in the middle. So I'm going to do my best to count this out. And then if you guys have any questions, just reach out to me or just ask me next time I see you in rehearsal. But I think it's really, really important that we all do this together in a very intentional way. First position, we're ready. Engage through. 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, plie, 5, 6, 7, 8, walk out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 5, 6, 7, shift, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flip, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 5, 6, 7, 8, tabletop, 1, 2, 3, 4, open, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Push. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 5, 6, 7, 8. Tabletop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2. Slide. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Up. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I hope that helps out, you guys. Again, if you have any questions or concerns or something that makes sense, please let me know. Yeah, I want to help where I can.